Welcome back, guys. This is Nicholas from Moralis, and in this tutorial we are going to get an introduction about queries and what they can be used for. Queries is a way of asking the database for data that we have put there or that someone else has put there. Because it doesn't really make much sense if we can only put things inside the database and not have a good way of asking for them back. And this is where queries come in. So queries, we can define queries in by writing const. We can define it. We can do const, we can do let, we can do var, but const is a good way. So we give it a name, for example, query, and then we set that equal to a new moralis.query, and then we specify the thing that we are going to ask the database about. So we copy this and we go to our code. And this code that we have here is taken from a previous episode where we are putting things inside the database and we're putting inside monsters. So let's now make a way for us to ask the database or ask Moralis to get some monsters back. So we do get monsters equal to an async function like this. And here we paste our definition of a query. So now we say, okay, I have a query and I'm now going to ask the database about something. And you can define the something in two ways, at least two ways. First, you can take the definition of the object like we have up here. And then you can say, this defines a monster creature that we will call monster in the database. So now, please, Mr. Database, can I have some monsters back? This is one way. Another way is to just specify the name of the table or the name of the object like this. This works just as fine. And there are some cases where this one is preferred and other times when this one works just as well. So for simplicity's sake, let's just go with the name of the table because that is one line less to worry about. Okay, so now we've defined or now we've said, okay, database, I'm now going to ask you about monsters. Let's see what you know about monsters. So then we need to store the result when the database returns with some monsters for us. We can store this in a variable called monsters. So let's do const monsters equals await. So we wait for the database to find them for us. And then we do query, our question, query dot find. So now we ask the database, okay, find all the monsters for me, please. So this will now return to us all the monsters in the database. So let's log this to the console. So console.log our monsters here. And when we do this now, if we call this function, we will get all the monsters in the database. So if we look at in the database, we now have about, maybe 11, 12 monsters. So let's see what we get back. So let's refresh and call this in the console because we don't have any UI for it. And now we get 11 monsters back. Perfect. And each one here has some attributes with the data about the monster. For example, this one is Eric. So this is very good. But sometimes you don't want everything. Sometimes you want to limit the response. Maybe you are scared of monsters and you only want to talk to the ones with a health lesser than 100. Those are the ones that you dare to talk with. So you'll talk to me, you'll talk to Ivan, you'll talk to Sam, David, and Dave, and this anonymous person here, monster. So to specify that, we go to the documentation here and we read about constraints. Constraints is a way for us to limit the response from the database. So this one is pretty good. Less than or equal to some number. So let's take this one, copy this, and go back to our code, and we give some more detail about our question to the database. So we say, hey, database, I'm now going to ask you about monsters. I want you to return the ones that have a less than or equal to health of 100. Please find them for me so I can put them in the console. So let's do that now. Let's try it out. So we go here, we refresh, we call the function, and now we only get 7 back. And let's say that we are also scared even about these monsters. we are afraid that they are too powerful. So let's just ask for the ones who have strength lesser than 10. So to do that, we can give it another constraint to say that I want you still to limit the response to the ones with health lesser than or equal to 100, but I also want you to limit those with the strength lesser than or equal to 10. So if we run this now, then we will only get like 1 back or something. Yeah, only 1. And this is Mr. Dave. All right, and this is one way. You can use less than or equal to. You can also check for things greater than, equal to. And you can also ask for specific things. For example, equal to or not equal to. So you can say, give me those that exactly match this thing. For example, we can ask for the ones that exactly has 13 in strength. So to do that, we can go back to our code. We can remove this one, and we say equal to the strength of 13. So if we run this, then we will get back 7, because there are 7 monsters with the strength of 13. You can also check for more things. You can check for if not something is not equal to. So let's just put not in front of this, so we will get all the ones that are not equal to strength 13. Let's see here. So if we go here and then we say not equal to strength 13. We go here, we refresh, call this, and now we get 4 back. And these are the ones with a strength that does not equal to 13. So you can do this to specify specific questions that you can ask the database about. So this will conclude the introduction to queries, and I hope to see you in another tutorial. And if you've enjoyed this one, make sure to like it. Take care.